Hello. In this video, I am designing and 3D printing a light mount to go on top of my Acer monitors. So the monitors I have these aluminum posts that are ideal for mounting things other than the monitors themselves. And I wanted to make these adapters so that I can have 1/4 screws to mount some lights. The idea is to make my setup clean so that I don't have so many posts and rods sticking everywhere. So what I'm doing is drawing a sketch that I will later extrude. I'm using FreeCAD because I don't want to spend the money on Autodesk or SolidWorks. I don't have a salaried job at the moment, so I will use what I have access to. FreeCAD is pretty good for simple designs like this. There are some features missing that I would have liked. For example, if you wanted to extrude a complicated shape, you have to draw a closed loop. You can't have any intersections or anything like that you could have in Autodesk Inventor or Fusion, where you can have the freedom to select subsurfaces to extrude. In FreeCAD, you have to cut things out and have the shape exactly as how you want to extrude it. So here I am trying to extrude an area where the socket head of a 1/4 screw would sit inside. That way, when it rests on top of the monitor post, it is flush. Once you've extruded, you have the option to change how deep the extrusion is. And that looks quite nice. Here I'm fusing them together into one part. Now I'm drawing a sketch of a circle that I can later extrude into a cylinder, and I will use a Boolean feature to cut a hole through this area, and this hole will be used as a place for a 1/4 screw to clamp onto the posts. Here I'm setting the position of the hole 8mm, which is about halfway. Right, so now it's cut, and that's the end of the design. The last thing I do is refine the shape to get rid of any multiple parts that really ought to be one, and then I export. So here I have the two parts in Elegoo Cura, which is the slicing software for my 3D printer, the Elegoo Neptune 4. And I have two parts because I have two monitors. One is larger than the other. I measured out the diameters of the posts in order to have these two designed. And you can slice through the different layers. Now it's being 3D printed. This is a fast 3D printer, and I'm not even running it at full speed. I think once you start pushing it to its limits, you have a higher chance of printing failure, so I kind of keep things moderate. Now it's finishing up. I have my 3D printer inside an enclosure to keep the fumes contained. It's good for short prints, but once prints reaches 3 hours, it's not very good at containing everything, and my room starts to smell, so. Alright, second time's the charm. As you'll see, there's a problem. I thought the post was a perfect cylinder, but I did not notice these plastic pieces at the back, and so my 3D printed part won't fit. So these things happen, you have to adapt. My solution is to cut out the back to make room for that extra extrusion. I used a handsaw, a really cheap one. It was a pain in the butt to saw it. I drilled 3 holes and then peeled it off with some pliers. Rather than having to reprint from a new design, I just tried to adapt my existing print, and that way I don't have to waste more time and filament. And now, as you can see, it fits. And here's the other one for my second monitor. It also had the same problem. I bought these on eBay, 10 pieces per $10. Also this cheap webcam. So what I'm doing now is gluing some LED strip lights as a bias light for my monitors, because the lights that I was previously using as backlights, I'm now using it as key lights. So to connect these, you have to peel off the waterproof coating as well as the sticky coating. And then these connectors, angle connectors, you have to lift up the contacts with perhaps a screwdriver. That way you can slip the LED strip light contact area. I added a piece of paper as a shim because unfortunately these don't close all the way. But in the end, the shim didn't really help either, but this was an attempt at least to keep things tight. So once it's in, you press down the pins so that they're contacting. peel off the I guess, I don't know what it's called, but whatever that's covering the sticky part, and glue it on the monitor. Here's the other side. So I have a couple of options. What I could do is cut it here so that it wraps all the way around, but it will cover the sticker that has the information of my monitor. I don't want to do that, so I'll cut it shorter. That way the LED light using that wire will run through the middle. There's a problem. The contacts aren't good, so only the first strip is lit up, not the second one. If I tap it, it works, but only intermittently. So I decided to hell with it. I'm just going to solder everything. It was a pain in the ass to solder, so I skipped to the end. Here's the result. Now it works. Here's what it looks like with my monitor set up. Now these are rather cheap lights, so I don't expect amazing results. It's just something to get the job done, prevent eyesore during the nights. Here's my little studio lights. They're small, but that's what I have right now. It's a nice wave effect. I'm gonna stick with a solid light actually. Here's what it looks like with my monitor on. It's kind of blue, but actually it's supposed to be white. As you can see, all three LEDs, the red, green, and blue, are on, which means it should be white, but it seems like the red is a little weak for some reason. I hope it's not because of my soldering work, although it could be. So this is what my set looks like with the lights on. The quality is not that great because I am using a cheap webcam. My digital camera is tied up in business-related work at the moment. So this is what it looks like with a digital camera, my Canon M6. The lighting is actually pretty good for this situation if you actually use a decent camera. But for now, I think we will have to stick with this camera quality because my digital camera is tied up with business related work, so I can't really have it set up as my streaming cam permanently. Anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you learned something, and let me know if you're interested in videos like this where I design and 3D print things. If you need someone to help you design things for your own personal project, feel free to reach out. Open to trying out different projects and helping people out.